Why did I take so much time to understand it and learn it? Why was I so belligerent about my beliefs? And I'm seeing myself, and I just asked him, I'm like, can I have this idea? And he goes, yeah. And so we started the Chiropractic Defense Council as one of our initiatives in 2021. We have about 4 different initiatives that One Chiropractic takes on, but the CDC is definitely one of the bigger ones. And God's timing is always perfect. We started it in February of 2021. August of 21 is when the mandate started hitting from COVID. And we were the only group that was mobilized and ready to go. It started with 7 states in the U.S. We immediately, within 2 months, we had every single state covered. Doctors could practice without being vaccinated in those 7 states. The word spread into Australia. If people remember back in that day, Australia was probably the most draconian country of any country in lockdowns. They had 192 straight days of lockdowns. And I'm talking lockdowns, like restaurants closed, people not leaving their home. I mean, it was insane. And they were very adamant about vaccinations to the point that they were chaining the doors of businesses because people weren't vaccinated. So obviously Australian chiropractors were freaking out. A lot of them went to U.S. schools, had classmates in the U.S. They were talking to them saying, yeah, this group called the Chiropractic Defense Council helped us out. And so that's how we ended up international. I knew that we would get international eventually. I didn't think it would be 2 months after we started the business. And so I'm very, very, very thankful and blessed that that's part of our history. We were able to defend over 900 chiropractors in Australia and kept them practicing. I mean, literally to the point that we had attorneys cutting chains off doors and opening it up for doctors to practice. You know, I'm 50. I'm 30 years into chiropractic. I've heard the stories of the guys getting arrested going to just do chiropractic. This was a real life situation of the same thing. Like the strength and the love of those chiropractors that were willing to put themselves in danger to go and practice. Yes, partially for economics for themselves, but they also knew that their people needed to be adjusted now more than ever because this unknown, flu was going around. And so it was a phenomenal time for me to just expand my consciousness. Since then, obviously, we were successful there. We ended up in Canada. We ended up in New Zealand and South Africa. And we were very successful everywhere we went because we were organizing chiropractors. It was no longer about your technique. It was no longer about your philosophy of mechanistic versus vitalistic. It was about survival. And it was a phenomenal time of organizing, working together. We were successful because in Australia, we had 1,000 chiropractors that were connected to us. I was doing a video every day. Every single day I was updating them. Okay, yesterday this is what happened. All right, I need you to turn right. I need you to turn left. I need you to put this in your COVID safe plan. The government just came out with this new directive. Here's how I want you to respond to it. And so people were watching my videos every single day. When I visited Australia in 2022 for the first time after the lockdowns were off and after the vaccine requirements were there, I would go there and people would just come and give me hugs and they were like, your videos were the only thing that got me through. We knew someone was fighting for us. We knew someone was doing something. And so that was God's way of just validating all of our work and what we were doing and the importance of organizing this profession of chiropractic. And so now we're still taking on issues. Australia has a pediatric issue. They've determined that chiropractors cannot adjust 2 and under. For no reason. There was no complaints. There was no issue. There was no malpractice issue. It was just the government just decided it doesn't look good, so we're not going to do it. And so we've been suing the government of Australia, working on that and working alongside the Australian Chiropractic Association. They're a great group of people, and we're pushing on that. We also, in Canada right now, we have a major issue in British Columbia where they removed chiropractors' ability to do routine x-rays. So you're talking about any upper cervical doctor, any CBP, any Gonstead, where they do routine x-rays to be able to do an assessment. You could lose your license in BC doing that. We've been fighting that for 5 years now. Cross our fingers next month in October. We think that we're going to know one way or another. Either they're going to change the policy back to what it should be, or we're going to sue the government of British Columbia. So we're in position with that. We have 62 attorneys worldwide right now on retainer. We do that so that we're prepared and ready to go whenever a fight comes up. But we're committed to protecting the rights of practicing chiropractors all over the world.
Well, I'm glad you are. And, you talk about organizing chiropractic, and we're pretty good at organizing during a crisis. We're not very good at organizing when everything seems to be going okay. Right. And I think we could all, any state we're practicing in, we could probably all go, well, I'm not sure my state association's really, doing a whole lot. And yeah, we go and lobby and we go up and meet the the legislatures and have legislation day, chiropractic legislation day, and do some of those things. But as far as really impacting and organizing as a large group, I know you were saying, maybe some of the organizations have 7% of chiropractors in them.